Welcome to this lesson on the conditions of rhombuses. Let's review a little bit with vocabulary. A diagonal is a segment with endpoints at two non-adjacent, and that's important, non-adjacent vertices of a polygon. So therefore, for example here, these 2 points are adjacent, therefore you cannot have a diagonal to those vertexes, so the only diagonal you would have from that point would be straight across there. So a diagonal, again, is a segment with endpoints at two non-adjacent vertices of a polygon. We have two theorems here, and they're kind of opposite of theorems that we may already know. For example, if a quadrilateral is a parallelogram, or if a parallelogram is a rhombus, then the diagonals are perpendicular. Well, this is kind of these theorems are kind of the opposite of those. That they are also true. So instead of saying, so if someone told us quadrilateral ABCD was a rhombus, we could say that the diagonals are perpendicular. That's a theorem that we've probably already talked about. Well, these theorems are flipped. Therefore, if someone told us that, for example, these diagonals are perpendicular, we can use these theorems particularly to prove that ABCD is a rhombus. We could say that by saying, well, AC is perpendicular to DB, AC is perpendicular to DB, and by this theorem right here, if diagonals of a parallelogram are perpendicular, then the parallelogram is a rhombus. We could say that ABCD is a rhombus. We could also say that if one diagonal of a parallelogram bisects a pair of opposite angles, then the parallelogram is a rhombus. And the opposite is true as well. If a parallelogram is a rhombus, then one diagonal of a parallelogram will bisect a pair of opposite angles. In the same respect, we know that if a parallelogram is a rectangle, that the diagonals of a parallelogram are congruent. Well, now if someone tells us that the diagonals are in fact congruent, then we can prove, using this theorem, that ABCD is a rectangle. And if you can use either one of those theorems to prove that a quadrilateral is a rectangle and a quadrilateral is a rhombus, then you can conclude that the rectangle, the parallelogram is a square. That's all I have for you. Make sure you go try the homework assignment. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I'll see you in life class.